Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. Today is December 22nd, 2021. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly review some of the market internal, and then we're going to jump in to look at some of the ETF for the S&P 500 and the Russell 2000, also the NASDAQ 100. So essentially, we're going to take a look at the SPY, QQQ, and IWM, and I also want to illustrate to you how the volume profile help us analyze the price action and identify some of the potential support and resistance, and also potential price target. Okay, going to show you the tool that I use, illustrate the method that I use to look at those price level. First, let's start off with the sentiment chart here. Here we see that the S&P 500. This is the S&P 500 daily chart right now, and you can see today it is up 1% or 47 point, and see this on Monday it kind of got a nice a little hammer type of candle and bounces right off, and on Tuesday and today we have a nice follow-up. So this is one time framing up here, and here's the all-time high. That's basically 47.4383. So we're still looking for this all-time high to get taken out because of the ES. The E meaning S&P 500 has a Globex all-time high, and also to get tagged, and that kind of imply when that is getting tagged, most likely the S&P 500 will also come up and tag is all-time high. So looking at the VIX here, you can see that the VIX is coming back down to below this 20 level. Today it closed at 18.63. It did hover up here the last few days. Matter of fact, for the last couple of weeks, right, it's been chopping inside of this 20-30 zone. So the market participant has been a little bit fearful, or taking a little bit more cautionary approach. But strangely enough, though, the put-call ratio, although we did get above the 0.75 for a few days, but after that, it's basically pretty much below this 0.75. So even though the market participant were a little bit fearful or cautious, but it did not completely taking risks off. They just putting risks on a little bit carefully. So in this chart here right now, it seems like the market participants getting a little bit more comfortable with the market again and starting to put back on some risks. And here we are looking at the up-down volume for the New York Stock Exchange. You can see that the up-down volume has been positive in favor of the up volume today. The up volume 3-to-1 over the down volume, and also the advanced decline. The advancing issue outnumbered the declining issue by 1,613. So the last couple of days been quite strong. So in other words, the last 2 days the rally seems to be supported by a positive up volume, and also more advancing issue. And also in addition to that, we've been watching the New York Stock Exchange new high, new low, and remember we were seeing that the new low been outnumbering the new high, and that wasn't a good thing when the the S&P 500 is getting close to its all-time high. But today it kind of reversed a little bit. The new high actually outnumbered the new low by 2 stocks, right? There's 59 stock make new 52-week high, and 57 make the new 52-week low. So, but the key thing is not basically just looking at the number, but also the number of stock that are making new low. Looking at Monday, on Monday there was 246 new 52-week low, and only 9 new 52-week high. So you can see that the number of new low actually shrunk quite a bit, from over 200 down to somewhere around 60 and 57 today. So we're seeing that number of stock that is making new 52-week low had dramatically reduced. So that's a good thing. And here we are looking at the cumulative advanced decline line, although we are still seeing a little bit of a divergence here. So that we still have to keep an eye on. So that implies that we could see a new high and then it start coming back down and possibly correct this and then start building a positive divergence. When this thing come down, then we could look for the next leg up. And here's the NASDAQ 100. So the NASDAQ 100 today, it closed up 193.1.2%. And again, the up volume, outnumber the down volume. So we have a 1.9 to 1 in favor of the up volume today. And yesterday, it was 4.3 to 1. So it's all in all, the last couple of days, the NASDAQ graph is also quite positive. Today, the advancing issue outnumbered the declining issue by 1,058. And the previous day was 2,339. And again, the new high, new low also improved a bit in terms of the number of stock making new 52-week high. Although right now it's still outnumber the new high here. You see today 134 stock made new 52-week low versus only 49 stock made new 52-week high. So the margin is still in favor of the new low. But again, it's been shrinking. Because if we come back and look at this day here, the margin was 587. And here it was 393. And here is 396. More new low than new high. So today is only 85 more new low than new high. So that's a improvement. And here again, the cumulative AD line for the NASDAQ, we've been watching this. Basically, it is getting weaker because there are more stock making new low and also more declining stock than advancing stock, even though the NASDAQ 100 has been trying to move back up. And that's basically because of the bias toward the large cap tech stock that push the index up because they have more weight on the index. So it doesn't take too many stock in that magnitude to push the index up, while the majority of the stock in the NASDAQ is going down. So we basically need to keep an eye on this, the cumulative AD line, to see would it get an improvement while this thing, chopping down. So want to see that improvement on the AD line. So we are seeing a little bit of a improvement in the sentiment and also in some of the internal, especially on the new low and new high. So let's go and take a look at the ETF and see how they perform. Let's take a look at SPY. I'm using this composite profile here on Ninja Trader. This is a tool that I bought for Ninja Trader. But you can also use a similar tool that I show you on TradingView, fixed range volume profile. So what I'm doing here is I got a 60-minute chart here on the SPY, the ETF for the SP500. And as you can see from this composite volume profile, I'm basically setting it up initially from this low here, okay, this low over here, to this high here. So essentially I'm doing it for this swing. So what I want to highlight is watch these low volume node that I have identified just based on this swing here. And basically want to keep an eye on to see how price would react coming down here at these low volume node. And also got a high volume area here as well. And you can see this is a high volume zone here. And we're going to see how price basically react. As you can see here, without even dragging it, I already basically, show the price action here. So let's go back and if we just kind of move that out of the way, and then we could scroll in, coming in, and you can see how the price kind of react to those zone here. So you can see right now it's coming into this high volume area. That's where we see that there are seller and buyer come to some sort of agreement on those price level, and they find it to be fair on both sides. So you see a lot of trading activity occur, and that's where you get a lot of volume here. And when we get down to this low volume zone here, you don't see much So right now it came down to this edge here, basically near this low volume here. So before we even get into this high volume node, it bounces off and back up to this high volume area where there's a lot of liquidity there between the buyer and the seller. And here you see a gap down, and it gap down and came to this price zone here, this low volume area, and immediately went down to this high volume area where there are buyer and sellers. And here now it come back up to this level here. This where there's some buyer and seller here because there are some volume here. And now it's come back into this high volume zone, dropping back down. And here again, it came down to this zone here. Right, so it stayed there. And you see that it come right to relatively quickly to this zone here. Right? And I'm going to show you when I drag it, you will see there's not much volume added while the price go to these level here. Okay, so you can see that it come back up and came down once again. It came back in to this high volume zone. So now it came all the way down in this low volume node, and we see a rejection. See a rejection of the price come right back up, and once again back into this high volume area. Came down. See it come right down. Here's a little bit of a long wick candle here, and it just come right up. Right? And now once again, it's basically chopping in this high volume area right now. Okay? And then it gap up, and once again it gap up and back into this high volume area. So now it's chopping around this high volume area. And here you see that once it get up to this low volume node, got a low rejection here. So it found a seller and basically just pushed back down. We got rejection down here back to this high volume area. And now once again, it come down to this low volume zone and hit this low high volume area and got rejected back. Now it's coming down to this low volume zone, got bounced back up again, come up to this high volume and pushes back down, and immediately come down to this area here, hopping around, and now it came up here. Now, right, trying to get through and immediately get rejected back down once again. Now we get a bounce off of here at this edge, and then it came right to break to this low volume zone here, and then come right back up. And when it come back up, it just went right to back to this high volume area. So you can see how the volume profile kind of give you some idea of what a price might be targeting, right, and how it reacts. So now just pay attention to the zone here as I drag this. So I increase the volume here. Right, you see how the volume is increasing here as the price going to at these level. Okay, so just keep an eye on those. Right, so I just drag this over. Now you see it's coming down to this low price zone here now. This price zone here. So watch how the volume or the lack of it that tend to increase. Okay, so here we see there are more volume down here increasing. So you still see that low volume node sort of maintain that low volume node, that indentation there, right? Because you're not seeing much of a volume picking up there. Okay, to fill in that. Now we're seeing a little bit of a fill in now. You see that? Watch here now. When I'm drag the price over here, you can see this this location here, the volume, this level will get filled in. See how this filling in? Okay, now we are back up here now. The price back up here now. Watch this this area get filled in more. So you can see that the market participant found previous area with different price location that it tend to like to trade. So you see that right now it is coming back up to this composite point of control. This is the level 458.27, 468.27. That's the level with the highest traded volume here between this this entire time span. So watch the price coming up here to see it will get rejected back down, because usually when we see it come up to these high volume node, these point of control, get a little chop and then come up to get close to the value area high. So this is the composite value area high at 470.54 area. So basically right now we are looking at this value area, this composite value area. The price tend to hop around inside of that range. So we're going to see, will price come up on this range, and would it break this range and move up to a new high, or would it basically come back down and then chop back down and come back down to the lower end of this balance area and possibly break that and come down. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at for the SPY. Keep an eye on this 468.27. So see, would that come up? If it come up, then look for this 470.54. Now, similarly, we are doing the same thing with the QQQ, the Nasdaq 100 ETF. So let me go and illustrate the same scenario here. Extension there, I have a swing here. So I'm setting up the initial composite profile, volume profile on this swing. And you can see here that we see this different, let me go back and set up this tool. So here's this low volume zone here. And I identify a couple of these high volume node. I could also put it here. This is the point of control, the composite point of control. But right now, mainly interested in these low volume zone, because I expect if the price come down here, it will get a bounce. And when it bounces, we are essentially looking at these high volume node as potential target. If the price come down here, so if the price come down here, we are essentially looking for these guys here as the potential target for the price to bounce up to. And so let's go and take a look at that right now as I scroll through the prices. So it came down to this low volume node, get a little bit of a bounce, and it came immediately come down to this high volume area now. So, and here's this high volume area. This entire pretty much is high volume area. In between, there's a little bit of a low volume zone here. So it did not spend too much time down here. You can see price just come down here. Right now it's trying to come up and probably get rejected. See that rejection come back down to this high volume area. And now it's coming back up and trying to tag this composite point of control, which is, there's the price low with the highest traded volume. In other words, that is the most favorable price so far right now between the buyer and the seller. Okay, so you see it chop around there, come down here. Now it's coming down to this high volume zone, and basically looking to see would it come down to this low volume node here and get a bounce. Right, so right now it's coming up and basically watching these low volume area for rejection, and the high volume is where you target for basically a target price. So it came down here on this low volume here. Now we're going to see what the target back up here. So we're going to see what it come back. Well, this one it didn't come back up, but it came down to these high volume area. So it came down to this high volume area. So now it's coming back to this low volume zone. Get rejected, come up here to see what get rejected, and then now it's come back up to this high volume area, and which is also near the composite point of control, the most favorable price level. Then chop around. So you see how price basically just target those high volume, low volume area. Okay, so now let me go and do this and watch these zones as the price move through. Watch this volume profile and see how it built out. Okay, so I'm going to move this through. Okay, you see the volume building out. See what the price is. Here we got the price coming up. So this high volume zone is essentially just building out as I move the price out, to cover more of these prices here. Okay, so just watch this now. So you see those low volume nodes did not increase that much in volume there as we scroll through. now it builds up. Now it builds up a little bit more volume here now. This area here. So basically, right now we're looking at this high volume area here. So we're going to see is price going to come up once again. Tag this 397.24. This composite point of control. And see what it get back above. Get above that, then we're basically looking at this 399.23. This value area high, this composite value area high. And break you here, we're looking at this level here, somewhere around, let me see what that level is. So somewhere around 402 to see would it get a rejection when it come up here, get a rejection back down. Okay, and we're going to come back down. Well, we'll most likely see it try to target this 397. That would be a reasonable target to place as an initial target for the rejection to come down, and then it possibly, could possibly work itself down to the next low volume zone for another rejection up. So that's basically how we use the volume profile, get some idea where the price will, get rejected, and once it get rejected, where will it most likely target. And finally, let's take a look at IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF. And once again, we're basically looking at this. You can see that this value area here on this particular swing. Okay, but actually what I got here is kind of drew it a little bit higher. So we capture, this high here also, because this is a little bit of a low volume area as well. We get this low volume zone up here. So instead of using that Y of a zone, I basically just drew it down a little bit below that. So let's see what happened when the price came down here, got a little bounce here on this zone, and then it comes straight down to this low volume zone here before it bounces back up into this high volume area here. Okay, and then the price came down here. And then when it broke through, it just come right down to this low here. Again, it's trying to get back into that high volume area. So right now it's back into this high volume area here, this value area. So we want to see, is IWM going to come up and take out this point of control? That would be the target. And then if it continue to move up, then we'll basically look at this value area high, somewhere around 227. Now let me sweep this composite all the way to the current price. So you could see that it expanded the value area a little bit. We still got a little bit of a low volume zone inside of this value area, but this now become inside this value area. So we're basically looking at this low volume zone. If this thing going to come down, we are targeting this low volume zone here, somewhere around this 211 for a bounce. Okay, but if it continue to stay inside of this value area, then we're basically looking for a 221.70. That's the composite point of control, and then see would it be able to move up here to the value area high. And right now it is 228. And we can also see would it come up to this 230 here, this zone here. So those are the ETF for the SPY, the NASDAQ 100, and the Russell 2000. So I hope you find this a little bit illustration of the composite volume profile useful and informative. Be sure to smash that thumbs up to help me share and promote this video. Thank you for watching, and have a happy and a safe holiday.